Good evening, everybody. We're actually not announcing, we're backtracking to describe what we've been up to since Simchas Torah, since the terrible, terrible news of a horrible massacre that happened in Am Yisroel. We're actually talking about what we've been engaged in and how we're going to expand it even further. So this is not a plan. This is a description, really, of an initiative that we engaged in without any fanfare of any big announcement. We just jumped into action and want to catch you up on what we've been up to and ask for your participation. Upon the terrible news about the horrible massacre of the likes we haven't seen since the Holocaust, and it happened dafka on Simchas Torah, which is the day where supposedly all the dinim are over, and we've released a few videos about this. It really struck home that obviously, sadly, the tshuva that we did during Yom Noraim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Hoshana was not accepted, so tshuva is still needed. And then there's just the seeing the depth of the golus that we're in, and and how we need a Yeshua, not just in Eretz Yisrael, but how anti-Semitism is sprouting up. It's like we're back to the 1930s. It's such a scary situation, and I say the tshuva has to be real, but also we have to draw some strength, that A, to make sure tshuva is real, and B, in general, is there some type of antidote to how we are stuck in Golus. And we decided that, thinking back to something that I heard from my Rebbe, Rav Yaakov Wang, Yeshivas Yisrael, that the Sefer Reishis Chachma from Rav Elio Dividas, that was a big Talmud of the Ramak, Moshe Cordovero. It is a sefer that every page of you, just every page, affects you and brings you to Yiras Shamayim and brings you to Tshuva Shlema. And and it's a sefer that's rarely learned because it really gets into you, gets into your kishkas, right? It really it's a frightening book. And we haven't even gotten to the scarier parts yet, even though we've already given almost 30 shiurim, which means we've been doing it, almost daily during most weekdays that we've had since this war broke out. Right, so it's a sefer that's rarely studied in yeshivas. In some yeshivas, the mashgichim don't even allow bachrim to learn it. It's hard to learn it, and because it's just such a scary sefer. But I say this is like we have to take out the heavy artillery because we just went through the motions of tshuva, and sadly it wasn't good enough. But it's more than that. It is a sefer that's very heavily based on Zohar. And the Sefer Azar, which is brought down in Sforim, that even if you don't understand it fully, it's a segula for Yiras Shamayim, and we need to increase our Yiras Shamayim. We obviously don't fear God enough, because if we feared God more, we wouldn't need to do so much tshuva, and our tshuva would be a lot more sincere. But also, the Zohar in Parshas Naso says that that the reason why Zohar went missing for a few centuries, and it was revealed during Basroim, right? That in the later generations, Am Yisroel is destined to eat from the Eitz HaChaim, which is this Sefer Zohar, right? Now that we'll get out of Golus with Rachamim. It's something that sweetens the Golus and helps us get out of Golus, and that's why it was was reserved, to be accessible, more widely accessible to the later generations that need to use it to get out of the Golus. Because even though we're getting closer to the Gula than ever, but things always get worse before they get better, and we know that the high point of the Golus, where it's going to be the most frightening, is going to be by the Chevlei Mashiach, by the birth pangs of Mashiach. We're getting closer to goal, which means things will get worse in the here and now. To facilitate, and we need the power of the Sefer Azor to get us out of it. So now I'm going to come back to that. So it just occurred to me. So Reishis Chochma is so heavily based on Zohar, and it's fiery Musar. That's basically the number one thing quoted is Zohar, right? And now once so we started doing Reishis Chochma right away. Aside from giving a few shmuzin that are all available on the special v'chiil page, right? To do tshuva is called kiyum b'shuvo b'darko v'chaya. Of course, he doesn't want the Russia to die, but he should do tshuva and live. So life is tshuva is life. I once saw in the Sefer, in name of the Baal Shem Tov, that to be a chote is to be dead. Tshuva is tchias hamesim. It's like Rabbi, so it's chaim. So Torah itself it's chaim, and Zohar is called Eitz HaChaim. Begin to say Israel later on. Ilana Chai do Sefer Zohar. The Zohar we quote from a second ago from Parshas Naso. It's all called life, right? But there's another special thing about the Zohar, that the power of the Zohar, like learning Torah, very much be'iyun, is destroys the forces of evil. It destroys the forces of evil. And now the forces of evil are very much right now rearing their head. And in what way they rearing their head? Aside from Hamas, or mindless murders, they're mindless beasts. But the intellectuals, the college, the elite, the one they're coming with their crazy svaras, to justify what Hamas did and to demonize Israel and to tell us to stop. It's coming from the intellectual left, from Harvard, Yale, Columbia, right? And and that's what the Sefer Azor stands against. The Chochmas HaKabbalah is our philosophy, to negate their fake philosophy, their fake thinking. That's why Zohar is the antidote, literally Eitz HaChaim rather, that negates the das that comes from the Eitz HaDas Tovara, which is secular philosophy, which now is, if we thought in previous generations it could be used for the good, in this generation it's only being used for evil. Now, of course, even before, justifying what Hamas did, it's being used to justify, the LGBT, perversions. It's all coming out of the universities. So what Revised Cover writes, that philosophy and secular sciences all comes to Eitz HaDas Tovara in a bad way. That type of knowledge has to be countered with the Eitz HaChaim, which is the Zohar, right? And the war that we're fighting is just as much ideological as it is military. Like we have to get our message out. I'm at that about the rightness of the justness. That real justice is, the side of Israel, this which is really, and you'll only believe in the real righteousness of the Israeli cause, and why Israel is now not just, justified, right, but is even, justice obligates that they eradicate Hamas no matter what the cost, right? You need Das Torah for that, right? And so to be connected to Das Torah, that's the power of the Sefer Azor and the Chachmas HaKabbalah in general. So we need to do tshuva, and we need to connect to the power of the Zohar in a responsible way. And the Reish Chachma, as it's a Musar Sefer, he took from the Zohars that are pertinent to Tikkun. So it's Shav L'chol Nefesh, right? To help, and this is where I say, this is not just to give us life, but to give us valor. And not just because, everyone knows the famous Gemara, our legs stand in the gates of Yerushalayim, our legs stand in battle because of the gates of Yerushalayim that learn Torah. So it's what we believe, that Torah is the strength of the Jewish people, and the soldiers are victorious on the battlefield because Shevet Levi, or those who are Isaac in Torah, empower them. And that's why Hashem owes La'amod. Hashem gives strength to his people. Owes, the Mefarshim say, is Torah. It's Torah. Torah is the ois. Ki lanu ois v'oira. Right? It's more than that. It's not just to empower our soldiers because Torah learning empowers our soldiers, but it's we're also fighting an ideological battle. Everyone, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this went to Washington a couple of weeks ago on that Tuesday. Believe me, it seems like we have to go to Washington every other day to shout, and protest the righteousness of the cause of the Jewish people, to defend themselves and to destroy evil, not just for their own sake, but for the whole sake of the civilized world. You have to have Das Torah for that, to have that for you. So we're out there. We are also soldiers in this particular, because there's the war of public opinion, the war of public opinion, the war of like educating the world against all the stupidity they've heard in these institutions of higher learning. That's what the Zohar comes to counteract. That's the power of Sefer Zohar, in particular, and Chochmas HaKabbalah in general, a way to explain life and explain reality in a way that you see Torah is the truth. It is the universal truth. It is the cosmic truth. It is the absolute truth. So once we're doing Reishis Chachma for this dual reason, it occurred to me, well, there's another Sefer that from one of the great Achronim, the famous Al-Ghazi family. So it's Rosh Shlomo Al-Ghazi, who wrote a Sefer Mulefes Sapirin. And he did it, he was a huge Talmud from the Al-Ghazi dynasty that wrote first-rate Lumdish Sfarim, like Bechoros with the Rit Al-Ghazi, who I believe was his son, either his son or his grandson. That is like cutting-edge Lumdus, right? So, and they're the ones, and they were Kabbalistically informed. They're the ones who brought the Chemdas Hayomim to press, and that's why I firmly believe the Chemdas Hayomim is a very reliable sefer. Just look at who, learned it first and then brought it out in the open. They said they bought the manuscript off the author, the Al-Ghazis. Right? It doesn't get holier and more lumdish than the Al-Ghazis. So this from Shlomo Al-Ghazi, who wrote a few fundamental svarim, about how Gemara works. I believe he wrote the Gufei Halachas and Alichos Eli. Huge Talmudist. He was also well-versed Zohar, and he collated Zohars that every Jew should know, and he himself translated them into a contemporary Hebrew, a contemporary Hebrew of his times. He rendered it into a Hebrew, so it's not just the choice of Zohars you could be sure are safe, because he was thinking about what does every Jew, what type of Zohar should every Jew know? That'll give them a kesher to the koach of Zohar. And he himself rendered it into, Ivrit. So it's a totally reliable. So once we start after a few sessions in Reish Zohar, we added Mulefes Sapirim. And then, another thing that we added is, the Zerah Shimshon. It's a book, where everyone's looking for, Shmira and all of the other schools that are promised. And and this was something that was burning in my bones. That I saw everyone wants the schools that are promised. We learn Zerah Shimshon, but there's very little of real Zerah Shimshon learning going on. It's a long, complicated book, and it also has Kabbalah in it. It has Kabbalah in it. There's more, sometimes less, depending on the piece, but it's a complicated sefer, which is good. Pilpul is Milchamta Shel Torah, and like it's brought down from the Arizal, Chaim Betal says it's brought down that Milcham, the Pilpul of Kasha, Teretz, and first raising the problems, then getting rid of all the problems. That also clears the air. So it's called the War of Torah, Milchamta Shel Torah, the Pilpul, and that also is a way to fight, the cosmic battle, the cosmic side of the battle. Which we're all in it together with the soldiers as far as the cosmic side. So they started doing, Zerah Shimshon for real. And you'll see, go on the page, you see Zerah Shimshon, there's never a share that's less than 40 minutes. Sometimes it has to be in two parts. And you'll see that the real Zerah Shimshon is a very intense book of Pilpul, Kasha, Teretz, connecting dots. It's not simple, sweet little nothings. And so we added that also. And then once I was thinking about it, Musar, but with some Kabbalah, because we need to access the clarity that Kabbalah gives to counteract the the confusion generated by the colleges, right, and from the media. So what another thing fits the bill is Mishlei with Bir Agra. We started doing because I remember also hearing from the Mashgiach of Shalavim, who I was privileged to learn by and had a relationship with, someone, Moshe Tzuriel, said every line of Mishlei with Bir Agra is biting, right? And he's a man who knew. He had encyclopedic knowledge. And there's a lot of Kabbalah there also, so it needs a Rebbe. It needs assistance, not something you can read yourself. Most people can read themselves. So like Reishis Chachma, like Bulefes Apirim, and like Zera Shimshon, which is long and complicated. It may not be as deep as the aforementioned, but it is long, complicated, and does have some Kabbalah in it. So we added Mishlei with Bir Agra, which is Musar, but there's a lot of Kabbalah there. And you'll see it on the page, and we've been doing regular serials and that, and then we started also doing Hilchos Nida for those who it's appropriate for, and we started doing Hilchos Ribbis because I found that a lot of people are just so ignorant, of how Ribbis crops up, anywhere and everywhere. If you want to keep the laws of Ribbis, all the Durabbanans also, and be free of any chash of having done Ribbis, you got to know these things. So all these things have been added, and now I'm considering adding a few other Sforim, and we do it, almost every day. It's already 60 or so shiurim that we've done since this all started, and all these different varying topics. And it's to give v'chil, life and valor, and another thing about chai is that tzadik be'emunaso yichya. We have to strengthen ourselves in our emunah, in the rightness of the cause, and that the Torah's emes and Am Yisroel chai, and nothing should get in the way of the kiyum of Am Yisroel and the kiyum of the Torah. That emunah is called chayim. Tzadik be'emunaso yichya. Right. So it's the chai, which is the Eitz HaChaim, the Torah in general. Kabbalah in particular is called Eitz HaChaim, right? And Torah is called Chaim, Eitz Chaim and Machazikim, right? And also emunah is called Chaim, right? To give chai, and from the chai comes chayil, valor, to overcome, right? That's what we've been engaged in, and it just occurred to me after almost 2 months, and maybe I should explain to our viewers, and our the people that might have been following us, or should be following us, what this is all about. We're going to continue our activities. We're going to add more Sforim, and you'll see all these Sforim that we've done, they're not part of the regular yeshiva curriculum. And it's not the type of thing that you'll have regular shiurim, when Rabbanim give shiurim. So we're really also, neglected areas of Torah are being revisited and being reintroduced to the public. That's another big tikkun that we could do that could help us in the tzara that we're in, to add light to the darkness and add strength, spiritual strength and vitality, to withstand the challenges and overcome them. So what do I want from you other than just explain to you what we've been up to, and that you should participate, you should grab the shurim. We're doing all this for free. There is no charge. And this is all in addition to all the other stuff that we have on our website and our YouTube channel. I think the shurim are already in the thousands. If not, it's in multiple hundreds for sure, easily. And we're also not just on our own channel and on our own website. We're also carried by OU Torah. So go take a look for yourselves. We are, so there's this project in particular and our Torah dissemination in general that we do for free. But there are expenses. And I'm asking you to be partners because we're talking about Torah. We're talking about tshuva. Right, and of course, I'm sure tefillah. Everyone's doing davening for the matzav. So what's still missing? Tzedakah. and staka tatzil mimavis, right? So the schus of staka is not just a view, but also it saves, and we need to be saved, especially our soldiers on the battlefield. So I'm going to ask you to please give staka. It's bona fide staka, and it's also tax deductible, and please join the as a sponsor of the V'Chil initiative. And I'm asking for, by no coincidence, $18 a week. I know it is an overused and abused line. It's less than a cup of coffee, but it's true. If you have only one tall cup of coffee per day, from a 7-Eleven or a Starbucks, just one a day, 6 days a week. We're not even counting Shabbos Kodesh. That's easily $18, right? I'm asking for $18 a week, chai. And here's the beauty of it. If after a month, 4 times chai is 72, the exact gematria of chai v'chil. So by the end of the month, given the connected the gematria of the whole name, 4 times chai, and it shall be a big schus for you, for us, for all Klal Yisrael, and b'li neder, b'li shvur. We hope that this war will end soon with a decisive victory, not end the way the UN and some people in the bottom want it to end. They want it to end just that. Stop. God forbid. It should end because there'll be a decisive victory like the days of Hanukkah that are rapidly approaching, and we should have the miracles of those battles happen to us now, and stories are coming out that we're hearing stories of miracles no less than the miracles that we had in the days of Hanukkah. It's amazing the stories that are coming out. And there's no doubt that all the Torah learning that everyone's adding and the mitzvahs that people are adding and the chassadim are adding are bringing about these miracles. And it should also finally end with a decisive, it should be Chanu Kafei, just to finally be encamped and at rest because the enemy's been defeated. Right? So, and b'li neder b'li shvur, even after the Tzara should pass, and we should have Yeshivas like in the days of Hanukkah, right? Very soon. And b'li neder, we're not going to stop the chai v'chil. We're not going to stop once the crisis is over, and should be over with a decisive victory soon. We are going to b'li neder keep it going, and so please support us in this initiative. Go, click on the link that you should see somewhere around where this video is playing, and join us. $18 a week. And by the end of every month, you have given gematria chai v'chil, which is exactly 4 times chai. Right, less than the cost of a daily cup of coffee. Please help us out, join us, and help Klal Yisrael. And it's it's a win-win-win situation. And we need winning, right? We need to win, right? Beat our enemies. But it's a schus of tzedakah. It's a schus of supporting Torah. It's the schus of bringing emes into the world. It's the schus of empowering our soldiers. The schuyot in this, in giving this project are from every angle. And so please join us, and we should hear Besuras Tovas, Bezer Bash, Belokim Nase Chayil, V'hu Yavus Tzarenu, Amen, Ken Yiratzin.